What is going on, YouTube people? Mayor Cards and Comics here today to talk hockey. What are we doing? Talking hockey. I am not a hockey person at all. I've never collected hockey cards. I have not watched a hockey game since the Penguins in the late 90s. I'm sure I've randomly tuned into one here and there, but the last time I was at a hockey game in person, I believe Lemieux and Yager were both playing for the Penguins. A friend in high school, his parents had season tickets, and we would occasionally go with them. I will say, I'm not big on hockey on TV. I've tried to give it a chance a few times over my lifetime. In person, hockey is fantastic. I mean, hockey is great. I would go to, if Cleveland had an NHL team, I would go to games on occasion just to go, because I did think in-person hockey was absolutely fantastic. I don't have a team close to me. Pittsburgh's 2 hours away. The Blue Jackets are 2 hours away. And hockey tickets, super expensive. They are not a cheap ticket. So, why am I talking about hockey? Because the world is overrun with Connor Bedard, the future of the NHL. Everyone's calling him Gretzky 2.0. He's going to save everything to the moon and back again. Upper Deck Series 2 came out this week, which features the Young Guns. And for those that don't know, I do know at least this much about hockey product. Young Guns are the rookie cards that everybody wants. It is the go-to, even though it is just a plain Jane base card. They have parallels and numbered versions of it as well, but just the plain Jane base cards, the paper base card. Remember what that used to be like when paper base cards actually held value? Well, in hockey, they do. We'll talk about individual card pricing here in just a second. Box prices are going for just shy of $300 online. I think most retail shops are pricing them at $299. Now, I am not a hockey guy, so I can't put that in perspective, but basically everything I have been told is that these are like 3x the price that they would normally be. So take that for what it's worth. Let's talk about single pricing. Out of the gate, they were clipping $1,000. They've dropped down to about 700 right now, give or take. Listen, I get that he is potentially the second coming of Hockey Jesus, but if you want to chase his stuff, take a breath and just wait, like a week even. This stuff is getting ripped to the moon and back, and more supply is coming to market every single hour. There are so many listings and sold listings on eBay. And what's going to happen is people are going to start undercutting each other. And the prices is going to keep dropping until eventually it will level out. It'll level out at some point. Not a hockey guy. I have no idea where it'll level out at. Started at 1,000. Right now, we'll pull it up and look here real quick. $782 for a raw. I'm sure this is going to be ever evolving. If you told me in 2 weeks I'm on the weekly sports card market update and this is a $600 card, I would not be surprised by that. If you told me it was a $500 card, I wouldn't be surprised by that. If it stays around 700, I would be a little surprised by that. I feel like there's a middle ground in there somewhere. I just don't know where. I don't know hockey well enough. The thing that I wanted to point out here is now these are all a little bit more expensive, but they're already slabbed. Let's just call it an $800 hockey purchase could potentially get you. And like I said, I'm no hockey guru, but I know at least the big name guys. Connor McDavid, PSA 9 Young Guns, goes for about 900-ish bucks. So for not that much more, and in fact cheaper on release, you could have got a McDavid Young Guns and a PSA 9. Here's the other thing to keep in mind. This card is not rare. It is a base rookie card. Now, there's a ton of demand for it. That's why the prices stay high. It's the one that everybody wants. You can see right there on McDavid, I have his PSA 10 at the top of that list, and the PSA 9 down there towards the bottom. The print's going to be a little bit small on that, so I'll read it off to you. There's about 5,000 combined just in PSA 10 and 9. And that's not counting Beckett, SGC. Some of these are probably in KSA slabs. So There's way more out there than that. Now, the demand for that card is insane. It's the one that everybody wants, even though there's a lot of them. Remember, rarity does not always dictate price. There are things that'll be way more rare that will sell for less. This one has the demand side on lockdown. People want the Young Guns. They just do. Moving up the list, you can get a Sidney Crosby 2005 for $981. Actually outsells the McDavid slightly, but way less population count in a PSA 9. Talking about 700 versus 2,200 in the McDavid versus the Crosby. And then we have an Ovi and Ovechkin. Goes for about 1.2 in a PSA 9. Pop on that about 1,200. Also 2005. And then we have the McDavid. I just put it up there for like a reference point. The McDavid PSA 10 Young Guns goes for about 2.4 currently. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that people are just trying to gobble these up and get them the PSA as fast as humanly possible and set the early comps for the PSA market. That I don't know why else. There's no need to FOMO into a base Young Guns card. You will be able to get one. You are better off risking that you could get it cheaper in a month, and if it goes down, great. If let's just say something crazy happens and it actually went up, the odds of it going up enough to affect your purchase by a huge amount is slim to none. So just wait. Roll the dice and wait. You'll probably be able to get it cheaper in a couple of weeks. Most likely, you're going to be able to get it cheaper in a couple of weeks. So unless you're trying to play the I need to get this in hand and get it off the grading as fast as humanly possible, more power to you. Some people will make a lot of money probably doing that. It's a dangerous game to play. Now, do I think PSA 10s are going to sell for $700 for this card? No, I do not. It will be interesting to see what PSA 10s look like compared to some of these other guys. So we mentioned it earlier. McDavid goes for 2.4. Ovechkin goes for 3.3. You got to consider the pop counts, though. These 2005s are way, way less printed. Sidney Crosby goes for 2.3, slightly less than McDavid, but way less pop. McDavid's almost pop 3,000. Sidney Crosby is about pop 1,000 in a PSA 10. Now, keep that in mind as well. So the Ovechkin and the Crosby are a little over pop 1,000 in a PSA 10. Those were 2005. The McDavid is 2015. Pop on that is 2008. What do you think these Bedards are going to look like in a PSA 10 pop? There's probably going to be way more of them. I have to imagine Upper Deck is not stupid. They like money. I have to bet that they printed this product to the moon and back again. It was delayed for a while, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I believe this product was supposed to come out a while ago, and it didn't. Probably so they can print more of it, because they know what everyone is looking for. The way that I understand it, you get about 1.5 Bedards per case. Seems to be the general math on it. Now, obviously mileage may vary on that to some degree, but I'll let the hockey experts sign off or fire off down below. If you're a big time hockey, what do you think? Should the Bedard in a PSA 10 with most likely a higher pop, do you think it outsells the McDavid at, let's just call it, we'll call it 2.4. I was going to say 2.5 and round up, but around that number. I am sure the early ones will, but once the pop count kind of filters itself out, I would think, even if there's a ton of demand for them, that it would sell for slightly less just because of the population count differences. There's just going to be more supply of this card. But remember, these are paper-based cards. They're not chrome-based cards. That's a little trickier on the grading side of things. Corners get dinged way easier on paper product than on chrome product. Surface is usually a little bit better, I found, but corners are way more finicky on paper-based product. So like I said, this is not my area of expertise. I am not sure where this is all going to shake out yet. I just know if I really wanted a Bedard card, I would, a Young Guns specifically, I'd be willing to wait. I would roll the dice and say, what does this thing look like April 1st, price-wise, and can I sneak in and snag one? If you just want to collect a player, just wait and grab like a PSA 9 or something. And don't pay the PSA 10 premium. You'll probably be able to get a PSA 9 for less than raw, if I had to imagine. That's usually how this stuff works. But my guess is we'll see PSA 10 comps pretty quickly. There will be a segment of people that send this at the express level, super express level services, pay a very high fee if the card looks clean, to get these back in hand quicker than everybody else and set the market. I am sure out of the gates this thing will be ridiculously expensive. If you really want the card, just stay patient. If you're chasing and you open one or get your hands on one and you're looking to move it, be real sure you think that card's going to grade a 10. If you don't think it's going to grade a 10, I would honestly sell the thing raw as fast as possible. My gut tells me prices are going to keep creeping down. This would be one of those cases where you send it in. I could 100% see this happening. They're going for, let's just call it $750 today. You send it into PSA, and you send it at like, I don't know, the $70 level. I forget what the turnaround time on that is off the top of my head. But let's say you get it back in 2 weeks, door to door. By the time you ship it there, they do their thing and they get it back to you because you pay for a faster service. I would not be surprised if by the time you get it back, you not lose money if you pack pulled it, but that a PSA 9 would sell for less in 2 weeks than the $750 you probably could have sold it for raw. So just be careful out there. This stuff's going to move fast, and there's going to be a ton of it opened over the next couple weeks. A lot of inventory is going to be coming to market. Just preaching caution here a little bit. Even though I'm not necessarily a hockey guy, I've seen this happen enough times in all the other sports to have at least a decent idea how this is going to go. If you think I'm way off base on this, hockey people, please sound off in the comments down below. And I'd be curious for your takes on, like, given the guys that we have up here, the Ovi, the McDavid, and the Crosby, where do you think Bedard slides in on that from a pricing standpoint? My guess would be less or the least of those four, where it settles, not off the rip, where it settles just based off of the population counts. Off the rip, it'll probably be higher, but once it settles, my guess is it's going to settle in lower. I could be wrong. This is not my shtick. So, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Tomorrow, I have a well overdue pickups video from some online purchases and some stuff I picked up at a local show like 2 weeks ago. This video was supposed to go live last week, and it kept getting pushed because of all the nonsense that happened last week with the SGC stuff, the PSA stuff. The video kept getting pushed. So it's finally coming out on Saturday. So it might be a little bit dated, but it's not newsy. It's just me showing off cards that I picked up. So look for that one on Saturday. We'll catch you Sunday in a weekly sports card market update. Peace.